Hi. Now that we know how to create contingency tables from data that has been collected through different surveys or forms, let's look at the next step of converting the contingency table into a tree diagram. So we just take the first conversion that we did with respect to gender and inpatient being yes or no, and how can we convert this into a tree diagram. So I copy the detail of the contingency table. I go to a new sheet and I paste it there so it becomes separately for a easier working. Then I have the table. Now this needs to be converted into a tree diagram. So the tree diagram can be taken either from this way, which is the first option will be the gender branching into the inpatient, or you can also do it from top to bottom, which is the first level will become the inpatient, yes or no, and then shifting or branching out into the genders, male, female. I will just show both of them so we know how it can be done. So let's start with the left to right method, which is taking each of the row as the first option. Whenever we start working with the tree diagram, we first need to know the total number of people that are there. The total grand total is 100. So I just make the total here. So total is 100 people. So this is the first level or the starting or the beginning area, which requires to have totally 100 people. Now these 100 people, when we move from left to right, are classified into two genders. So we have the gender, which is gender is the first level of classification, and the gender can be male or female. So female and male. Similarly, or as it is given in the contingency table, we use the same notation, so it is easier. And the number of female here corresponds to the total number of female that is listed, which is 51. So total is 51 females, and the number of males listed is 49. So this becomes our second level. I'm just shading all of them so that we understand that this corresponds to the second level. Just shade it a little lighter so we know this is the first level. From here, I just put it in a box so we know this corresponds to one leg of the tree. So the females could either be an inpatient or not an inpatient. Inpatient yes or inpatient no. So the number of female who are an inpatient, so let's go to the next level. So the next level corresponds to inpatient. So it could be a yes, they are inpatient, or we'll follow the same method given here. No, they are not an inpatient, or yes, they are an inpatient. So how many no's in the female do we have? Female no is 18. And how many yes in the female? It is 33. So this corresponds to the next leg or the next level of the decision tree. So I give it a different shading so we understand the second level. This is our next leg or the possible events or the outcomes of that particular branch. We know that there are totally 51 female. So if you add 18 and 33, you can see when I add 18 and 33, total comes out to be 51. So yes, we have done the right thing. Same way, you can also check for the previous level, female plus male. So it's totally 100. Yes, we did it correctly. Now, the same applies to going up with the male category of inpatient. Male, no, and yes. So how many no and how many yes? There are totally 21 male with no, and same with yes is about 28. I just give it a block box so that it clearly shows that this is the node. So that's how we have finished all of the values that are inside the contingency table. If you add all of these people, that's the end point, no more branching out. That should also equal to the total grand sum, 100. So then comes the next part where you can just use your draw functions, or you can use insert functions to, draw any shapes so that you connect them to show as a tree. So from the total, it's possible to be a female. Same thing, take it again. Male. Female can be an inpatient, no, not an inpatient, or yes, an inpatient. Same applies to the male, no, not an inpatient, or yes, an inpatient. So this is how we draw a tree from the left to right, or basically we did it from the rows to the columns. Supposing if you feel a little confused with this and you're not able to plan the area of the tree correctly, and then you want to do it a slightly different way, well, then we can also do it from the top down, where we take inpatient first as it is given, and then branch out into the male female category. That can also be done.